All right. Well, welcome to week 4, I guess.
Or going by quick.
Yep. So, all right, let's just chat for a second. Um, First of all, I just thought it would be a good idea to talk about last week for a second because we didn't do anything, or because we didn't do a follow-up show, but also that was a lot. That was a lot of upsets. I
A
mean, I
rough
think
week.
like outside of, okay, his son got in the 50s, which let's be honest, that was an anomaly. And he is not known for doing really awesome picks, which again, kudos to Thad. But the majority of us were in the 20s and 30s. Like 30s was a good day, and 20s was about average. Any comments on that first?
No, I mean, I think every year there's 1 or 2 weeks like that where it's just everybody had it wrong,
Yeah.
basically. And that's when those strategies of colors and mascots really pay off. Like just,
Yeah.
it's entertaining. As a fan, it's great. It's entertaining. But there was one that we talked about. I'm looking at it right now. There's one game I remember we both talked about. It was the Washington State North Texas game,
Oh, yeah.
and we were both kind of like, well, or we talked about like, hey, 2 years ago it'd be like, oh, Washington State will win this. Like it's Pac-12, it's whatever, and I think this was a great example of the bias people have for conferences and for like and how long it takes to change that bias because Washington State got creamed 59 to 10. Like it wasn't even close. So it's sad, but Washington State's definitely dropped down into that group of five. They're kind of
They're
not
there with
great,
UCLA.
but
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
yeah, but I think there's that just the residue of Pac-12 where people think, oh, it's Washington State, but it's like it's not anymore. And I think I wish voters and people would realize like same thing with Clemson. They lose.
Oh
And
my
it's like, oh,
gosh.
now they're 1 and 2. Oh, remember when they were top five? And that's why preseason polls are just dumb, and that's why pedigree is dumb, and that's why history is dumb, because it's just like it has nothing to do with this year.
Right.
So
Yeah.
those are my thoughts.
Yeah, I also think big upsets because I think there were 6 upsets if I counted, and that's one of the highs. If we when we were talking about our upsets episode, I think the top was 5 normally. So a week of 6 upsets, painful.
Yes.
Um, and I'll specifically speak to my strategy. I had picked 3 upsets, but they were the wrong ones. And so not only so I only got 2 right, which was a very painful day for me at the office, but I also think this is another thing that becomes painful over time is knowing in your deep heart that you should have picked the upset, but then having to live with the reality that you didn't, and then walking around and telling everybody you know that I knew it.
I knew it, but you have nothing to show for it.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
nothing to show for it. You didn't pick them and you have no proof of that. But like, I don't know. There's several times where I've been agonizing up until the time that they play. Like, should I choose it? Cal is a perfect example of this because I was losing so bad. The Minnesota Cal was the only game left, and I was like, oh, I should just choose Cal. But I was like, but I can't afford to lose another one.
Yeah.
And like that was one where I woke up because I didn't finish it, but I woke up being like, no. I wish I
Yeah.
would have done it. It wouldn't have cost me anything. I think it was like a place at a level 3 anyway, but yeah, I think there's a lot of emotion that can go into this, and so sometimes playing this game, especially if you are an early riser in the top, it becomes more painful every week because you want to maintain that, and so every loss is a lot more impactful. But playing from the bottom, it's kind of in a way a little bit of a relief because you're just like, we'll see this, we'll see if this works out, and you have a lot less
Yeah.
stress in your picks. Maintaining a top position all season long is very emotional. So,
Yeah.
um,
It is.
yeah,
It
Jared's
is.
at the top of our bracket right now because I think he has 5 strategies going at the same time from what I'm looking at. And anyway, very interesting. So,
It's it's tough, but yeah, it's still really anyone's game this early though. Like especially if
yeah.
you're within 10, even 15, 20,
Hmm.
like there's still a long way to go.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah,
All right. Should we get into the this week?
let's get into it while I put PJs on my youngest.
Okay. All right, so I'm going to advance the slide and we're going to go into this week's different strategies and how they play out. So you'll see again, there's actually, in the last couple times we've done this, normally there's two games that are different winner picks. This year or this week, there's only one. So NC State and Duke. There's a split on who the spread strategy has Duke winning in places of metaphor, and the matchup predictor chooses NC State, but it's more like out of one. So that is tied for last place, and so I put them at the bottom because I was like, well, if it's on the spread strategy and it's has the other team winning, then I'll put them out of one. But overall, another thing too is a lot of these games we haven't seen. Oh, so the first six games over on the spread strategy, that's a pretty decent sized spread. Lately, I feel like we've had these like all 3.5 to 1.5 games, and those are really hard to make picks on. But at least we have a handful of 6.5 spreads or more, which in some respects alleviates some stuff. But I don't know. What do you think, Jared?
Yeah, this is yeah, you got bigger spreads, but just looking at them, it's still just kind of like, I don't know. And this is why I kind of take a little of both. I was like, okay, cool, that's a big spread, but what's the predictor saying? And maybe
Hmm.
it's somewhere in the middle or
Yeah.
something like that. But yeah, I'm just looking at,
Pretty much the top five are the top five in each of those. So that's one thing to consider. Um, Maybe with the exception of Arkansas and Memphis. Memphis, talk about a sleeper team right now. Wow. I've been kind of impressed with them. I love that on the spread strategy, the SEC is like, oh, heck no, they're not going to beat us. But I was like, well, they've been kind of punishing whoever they've been playing lately. So interesting.
they killed Troy and Clemson
Yeah,
had them.
yeah,
Uh, yeah, but
yeah,
I'm looking at them right now.
yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, that is an interesting game. But I don't know. I don't know if you want to just walk down
Yeah.
game by game or whatever. We can start wherever.
Should we go
Wherever
the
you want.
spread? So Florida,
Sure.
Miami. I've heard a lot of announcers being so mad that college game day is going to this game rather than TCU or any of the other like Big 12 games. Um, I don't know. I think I like that it's in Pick'em this week because I feel very confident in Miami having watched them. Florida, I feel bad for DJ Lagway. I feel like he's just not found his rhythm, and I just, I'm not sure if he's going to find it in time to beat Miami at Miami. So I don't know.
Yeah, I'm with you. Miami kind of seems to be they got a good win already with Notre Dame.
Hmm.
The so uh, yeah, I think that in Florida, I feel like is just like still trying to find itself. So. Well,
Yeah,
I do think it should be a good game, but
because it's a rivalry game.
I
Yeah.
wouldn't, yeah. So there's that, but I also wouldn't be shocked if it's Miami just
Blows them out.
steamrolls them. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and here's the thing about Florida. Early on, after the first game of watching Florida, I was like, this could be the real deal. But I feel like they've just had some, I mean, their schedule is pretty much like one of the biggest gauntlets that any team has to walk through. So it kind of put them in a position where if there was any sort of weakness, it would be exposed pretty early, and that's what they're dealing with. So I think Florida and Miami will be a good gauge for what they really can do, um, because it'll probably be them at their best trying their hardest.
Yeah.
You know,
Rivalry game,
yeah,
like
yeah,
I mean, I know I think anyway, yeah,
yeah,
it's in-state rivalry, I guess. So
yeah.
yeah, that'll be I do look at this and I'm like, I have a hard time if you're just going by spread being like, do you want to put that at 10 though? Like
You really? Why?
well, it's a big spread, but I think Florida is still a dangerous team.
I agree.
So,
Yeah,
like, yeah, everything we talked about is like, yeah, Miami, 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 but I still think Florida's good. Like, they played close with LSU. They
yeah,
barely
they
lost
did.
to USF. And
Yeah,
so they could come back and really be like, look, we got to get together. And this is the turning point, too. So, plus the rivalry. So, rivalry game, Florida's still a decent team. Do you put them at a 10 or do you drop them down a bit?
Yeah. I guess it's just because I've been watching Miami and I'm sipping the cider over there, but I feel fine with a 10. On the matchup predictor, it has it at a 9, so I mean, but I
Okay,
get
we're
but
ranking.
also is that one is that one an early game? I don't have that in front of me.
It's at 4:30
4:30.
Pacific, so it's not too, yeah, it's
So
later
let's
evening.
later. Yeah. So that's another, again, to go back to time strategy. This might be one that if you wanted to place it in a position where it's not as dramatic if you lose. So to Jared's point, maybe put it at a 5 if you have some, room to play with a little bit. But anyway.
Yeah,
All right. Arkansas, Memphis. We talked briefly about that, but
yeah, I haven't watched anything in Memphis, so what you were saying was interesting to me, and I haven't watched anything of Arkansas. So on this one, I'd probably just go with the spread and be like, oh, okay, SEC versus Group of Five,
yeah.
cool. But after you said Memphis is looking good, it's like, oh well, I don't know, maybe I need to reevaluate. So
Yeah.
what's your thought here?
Yeah, I don't know. I think for me, I haven't really watched Arkansas play a ton, but I was following Memphis's score. I don't think I could access because it was Troy and Memphis. I'm like, where is that game? I couldn't find it. Anyway, but I was watching the score and I was watching it just explode over Troy. And I actually picked, that was when I picked Troy over whoever they played not too long ago because Clemson did it. Oh, I picked Troy over Memphis because I was like, Clemson had a hard time with Troy, so I was thinking
Yeah,
they were great. But if Clemson had a hard time with Troy and Memphis destroyed Troy, then I think to me that gives Memphis some street cred.
it
So
does.
on the matchup predictor, I had Memphis and Arkansas over at number 4. I I would probably put it at a 4 if I'm being honest. I give Memphis a little bit more respect than that.
Yeah. It's going to
Yeah.
be fun down the road as we're like, okay, and this team beat that team and that team, this ladder.
Hmm.
And when you get later in the season, it's tougher to do that because there's so many games, and then there's injuries, and then you just don't know. But you just use the information you can. So
Yep, that's all we can
that's part
do.
of it. All right, North Carolina UCF. This is I don't know. Like I don't all the hype around North Carolina at the beginning of the season was I thought ridiculous anyway. And then but UCF is also like, have they done anything? I don't think so. So I don't know. I think the safe pick here is North Carolina.
Well, I feel
Um
like, yeah, I agree. You feel the same pick as North Carolina. Interesting.
yeah. It's
Um,
I know it's against the spread, but where is it on the other side?
it's at the
Um
number 10.
Number 10 UCF. Oh wow, I'm kind of surprised. I mean, I'm
Well,
all for
because,
UCF winning. Anyway, yeah, let me know. What do you think?
well, so I feel like the everybody's overreacted to North Carolina. I mean, yes, they were bad, but they also still at least competed. It wasn't a blowout 0, you know what I mean?
For
So,
against TCU?
yeah.
Well, it's 48-14.
Well, okay. So congratulations them. They got but I also think that says something about TCU. I feel like they're a top contender in the Big
I
12.
do agree with that. Yeah.
So the real question is, how high do you think TCU is compared to UCF in the Big 12?
Yeah.
And I just don't know as much about UCF. Who have they played right now? I have not
Jacksonville
watched them.
State, NC State, but then North Carolina went and played it looks like two FCS teams after. Maybe one's a low level FBS. So, like, neither one has played anyone except for North Carolina getting blown
Played.
out by TCU.
Yeah. So I do think, to your credit, I don't think that I think they'll be under the spread. I don't think they'll cover it, but I think UCF will pull it off. I wouldn't put it at a 10.
Yeah,
I think that's a little high for me. So,
that is a tough one, it, but this is where it gets tricky. Is it's like, okay, oh, I
well, then
wouldn't
all
put
the rest of
Florida
the
Miami
games,
at 10. I
yeah,
wouldn't put this at
yeah.
a 10. I would like that, and that's what makes this so fun and so interesting. Is like,
Yeah.
I don't want to put anyone at a 10,
I
you
put
know?
Okay, I'm gonna go on the record. I'm gonna put Miami at a 10. I think that's I'm feeling confident about that. And watch me
Next.
cry on Saturday when they lose. But anyway, um,
Uh,
all right, SMU and
actually moving
TCU.
some of my picks right now based on our conversation.
Based on what
Uh,
we're saying.
SMU TCU, I mean, it should be TCU. Like, this is one where I'm like, okay, if I'm gonna move Miami down, if I'm gonna move UCF down, I might move this one up
Really?
just
Okay.
kind of based on that blowout of
SMU.
North Carolina that
Oh, the
TCU
TCU
had.
blowout. Okay.
Yeah, and then they blew out some other small school. And let's see, SMU hasn't played anyone, then they lost in double overtime to Baylor. But Baylor is looking okay.
They're
I
looking
guess
okay. I feel
okay,
like they're
yeah.
mid-table Big 12. So,
So could be a
yeah.
good game. This one, am I as I analyze it, does 10 make sense? No, but does am I more comfortable with TCU after what they did to North Carolina
Yeah.
compared to some of the other schools? Maybe.
Yeah. I'm a little iffy on this one. It's funny, we're all opposite today. Like SMU, I feel like, okay, I do not think they're as good as they were last year. That's very obvious. But I don't think they should be they're not a sleeper team. I think that they actually have some level of play.
Yeah.
It all goes down to how TCU prepares for SMU. If they're thinking that there's some sort of like easy win, I think that they'll be surprised. But if they prepare like they're preparing for any sort of legitimate team, then I think they'll actually handle business. What's interesting about this one is both strategies put them at a 7. So I think that's a
Yeah.
safe bet right there.
And it's at TCU.
Yeah.
There it is. I don't
It's
know
a,
that they're
but they're both in
natural
Texas.
rivals, but they're both in Texas,
Yeah.
so that's
Mhm.
interesting,
Yeah.
So there's
And they're both
stuff there.
like church-based schools. So yeah,
Yeah,
it'd be interesting to see if they were actually rivals. I don't know about that either.
yeah,
All right, let's talk about our buddies at BYU.
yeah. This game makes me nervous for two reasons.
Yeah.
One, well, three reasons. One, I'm just always naturally nervous with BYU and like, are they going to show up?
Yeah.
Have we've had our hearts broken
Many times.
many times. So, but two, young quarterback, first game
Yeah.
on the road in a everything I've listened to is like, it's a hostile environment. Like it's going to be loud, like people are
Yeah.
showing up. And then three, ECU throws the ball like crazy. And
Mhm.
BYU's secondary last year was really good, but they haven't been tested this year.
Yeah.
So,
Hmm.
okay, we can stop the run, we can stop the run. And we've shown that the first two games, or BYU's shown that. Um, how are we against the the pass? So
Yeah.
I still think and I'm hoping BYU pulls it out, and I think generally people agree with that, but
Mhm.
it is like there's the reason to be concerned.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of people say that people think BYU will win, but they won't. It won't might not be the blowout that the preseason blowout they were expecting, you know.
Mhm.
And I think that that's fair. It always makes me nervous when BYU podcasters are like, "Be careful, we're scared." I was like, "All right, okay, all right,"
It's just-
because normally they're the most optimistic in my opinion. So,
they've been a fan for a long time when they say that, I think.
yeah, because we're all scared when anybody
Yeah.
plays anybody. But anyway, I have some confidence in them, but this is also one that opened when the spread opened. It was a lot. BYU was the top of the list, I think. So
Of
they've
the five,
fallen
yeah.
throughout the week where people have just started to be like, "Oh, East Carolina, they might not be totally out of the contest here." So
I and I think it'll be a good game. I think, yeah, they got a good passing attack, but and their build-up schedules are kind of similar. Okay, they haven't played really anyone,
yeah.
but so
Well, yeah.
yeah.
This will be something too where I think BYU fans are struggling because we really don't know much about Bear Bachmeier.
Hmm.
Like okay, he's done a decent job, but also not been tested to the extent that he's going to be during the Big 12 games. So we're kind of using this as a tester. So
Yeah.
it'll be interesting. I still would pick BYU, but yeah.
East Carolina quarterbacks already thrown for 973 yards in three games.
Oh, oh,
So like they just sling it
whoa.
like crazy. So it'll be interesting. I think if BYU can get pressure with like a three-man rush, four-man rush, and drop everyone, like they'll make his life hard. But um, yeah, I'm
Nervous.
it's cautious here on this, but hopefully, BYU can get it together. They're focused and
Hmm.
they do it.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Illinois, Indiana.
Um, so much to say about this game, actually.
Okay, good.
I'm actually, so I know we're saving like our underdog picks and game of the week. This is my overrated game. of the league. I
Okay.
know they're two ranked teams, but for some reason, this game just annoys me because I'm looking at both of their schedules. They've both played nobody. They've both blown out everybody. Then I looked at their schedules from last year, which when they were both like being like, "Hey, they're good, Big Ten, Indiana," both played nobody. Both like they're playing all the bottom tier, and then Ohio State, and then they lose to Ohio State. So, oh, good job, you lost one. It's like, yeah, but you didn't play anybody. And I
Hmm.
think that was a big narrative around Indiana. But it's the same with Illinois. Like
Hmm.
they also didn't play anyone. And then you look at their schedule this coming year, and
Hmm.
it's the same thing. It's like, oh, good, you got Maryland, Rutgers, all these teams, Northwestern, Purdue. Like it's crazy how many bad teams are in the Big Ten that are on both of their schedules. And I really think it's like, okay, cool. You're going to play Penn State. You're going to play Ohio State, maybe an Oregon. You're going to play maybe two hard games. And then after that, great, cool. Then you're a two-loss team. And then we have more people ranked. So this game, it's kind of like a pillow fight to me. It's like, all right, people think you're good, and maybe you are good, but your schedule doesn't prove that to me. You're both ranked, so now people are like, "Oh, it's a ranked game. Great." So if it's a close game, they're either going to keep the rankings or they're going to swap rankings depending on who wins. So I'm like, this is the type of ranking that I think like hurts the whole AP poll and everything. It's like, what? Why? Why are these two? Why is Illinois 9? Why is Indiana? What are they at? They're up there too. I forget their ranking. They're like
12.
19 or
Okay.
12. Yeah,
Mhm.
I'm like, why are they that high? And just generally, I think rankings should be based on what have you done? Like not
Mhm.
potential. I don't care about potential. Show
Mhm.
me. And if you start ranking based on what have you done, maybe people will start scheduling tougher games in the preseason
Mhm.
instead of, or if you're the SEC, you still schedule cupcakes because you know
Mhm.
your normal conference is going to be tough. So at first, I looked at this game and I was like, oh, that'll be an interesting game. And I'm curious to see what happens. But the further I dove into it, the more I'm like both of their strength of schedules, Illinois was 88 and Indiana 100. And I'm like, oh, so this is, you might be good. And through the course of the season, they could prove me wrong. I'm open to that. But based on last year and based on your schedule this year and your preseason schedule, I was like, you guys, the Big Ten is they know they have Ohio State, maybe Michigan, their top teams,
Mhm.
and then they have their middle of the pack, and they're like, let's help you out so that we can get more ranked.
Which
And then they
doesn't
got their bottom.
it doesn't do them any favors either because then they go to the playoffs and they really haven't competed to the extent that they need to be able to really go deep into the playoff
Yeah,
brackets, you know? So getting like I think back in the day of the BCS system to be able to get on top, that's a perfect strategy for that. But these days to really win a national championship, you're going to be playing all hard teams to get there. So
yeah,
if you've only ever been tested once or twice and actually lost to those teams, you
right.
have no business being in the playoff system, period. You know what I
And
mean?
that's
So
that's what happened last year to both of these teams. Any
yeah,
hard team,
they
like they
lost.
lost.
Hmm.
So anyway, I know
So they'll
that
have
I
fun kind of like sucker punching each other.
and it
Just
could be a
kidding.
great game. Like you could
Yeah, I'm
still
teasing.
watch, you could watch Division 3 teams and still have a great game. Like
Hmm.
but I think it's just this like bugged me with the whole ranking system. I was just like,
Yeah.
what? It doesn't make sense. So whatever. Who do we got on Indiana?
Next. Yeah,
Cool.
Indiana.
Like, and this is also crazy. Indiana's favored. They're 19 and Illinois is 9. What does that say? Like, if it's
Home
like
field advantage, I guess, means something here. I
that
don't
Big
know.
Ten rankings, it's
Wow.
like, I mean, if you're 9, and you should be able to, this line should be like razor thin. If you're number 9 going into 19, I think. But I
Yeah.
think that just shows like the
Yeah.
rankings are kind of flawed almost. The odds are like, I don't know. Anyway,
Well,
okay.
and also the stats right now, again, I think that we're coming out of preseason, so the stats are
They're
very
inflated.
padded. So matchup
Yeah.
predictor is kind of all over the place right now for
Oh
me.
man,
I'm
it's
just
the
like,
worst.
this doesn't mean anything. Nobody's played anybody, and if they have slaughtered them and they're like first in the country, they could be 122nd tomorrow, you know?
Now, having said that, if matchup predictor and this FPI is ranking based on what have you done, I don't mind that. Like, I get
Mhm.
that it's like,
It's
hey, it's
stats
gonna
based. Yeah.
change. Yeah.
Mhm.
But that's what some of these one-off articles do, like the power rankings, and they're like, we're judging it based off what you've done. And I'm like, I like that. Let's do that. But until it's like a national,
Mhm.
AP poll and college football playoff
Mhm.
values that,
Yeah.
then it's not going to change.
Okay. All right.
All
We've
right,
got
sorry.
10 minutes.
That
Sorry.
was long.
So I don't really have much to say about NC State and Duke other than the fact
Yeah.
that it looks like there's some split feelings about that. I'd say put them low regardless.
Okay.
Do you
Yep.
want to, let's talk about Utah and Texas Tech last.
Yeah.
Let's Arizona State and Baylor.
I think should be a good game.
I think it should be a good game too. And I think it's going to test the strength of both teams and show us where they're
Hmm.
actually at.
Yes.
So
It's
yeah,
a prove it game. Ah,
yeah.
that's I didn't think of that. This will tell us a lot about one or the other.
Both. Yeah,
Yep.
both of them. And then Michigan, Nebraska. This is interesting too. This is getting a lot of hype, and I'm like, but why?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean,
That this is where
because
history
it's
is.
Michigan? Like,
Yeah.
and yeah,
Brands.
yeah.
In the 90s, early 2000s, killer game.
Yeah, this would be an amazing game.
I mean, Michigan,
Probably
I
be a
know
Rose Bowl
won.
game.
Right.
Yeah.
Michigan won 2 years ago. Okay, but they haven't really been the same. Nebraska hasn't been the same since they went to Big Ten, 12,
They're
10.
yeah.
So
And Ne-
I'm
Nebraska's
curious.
They're,
Oh, go ahead.
yeah, Nebraska though. I mean, everybody's saying that they've been surging lately. That they're really
Mhm.
starting to build. We'll see. I mean, I think this game will prove it, but will it? I don't know because we just don't know how good Michigan is.
Right.
So I think what's hard about these games right now is really there's no real true test of like measured strength. So who is the best? Like, and then having somebody go play who we know is the best.
Yeah.
And so you just don't know.
I
But
think it's funny about Nebraska's surging. Yeah, well, they played two really small teams and killed them. So
yeah, yeah,
way to surge, guys. Like it's,
yeah.
I mean,
Congratulations.
they almost lost to Cincinnati
Yeah, yeah,
at home, which Cincinnati isn't, I don't think, horrible, but
yeah.
yeah. So I'm curious about this game. I think this is another. I think we're now starting to get into that point in the next couple weeks of like now we're finding out who people are. Like enough
Yeah,
with the cupcakes.
yeah,
Who's who?
yeah.
All
Okay.
right.
Texas Tech and Utah. The reason I
Okay.
wanted to save this one, I know we're gonna do upsets, but this is my upset. So I don't know if it's your
No,
upset.
this was
Don't.
mine.
No. I figured it might be that's okay. And
And
for all of our
it's my
listeners,
game of the week too.
okay, me too. Actually, I was
Okay.
like, dude, okay. Well, Jared and I were like, let's not tell each other. Let's say it on air. I was like, I guarantee it's gonna be the same thing. So anyway, why do you think it's gonna be an upset?
Well, I think if you look at that Utah schedule,
Hmm.
if UCLA was good or even decent, I think that win over UCLA just looks not as great
Hmm.
anymore. And then Utah's struggle against Wyoming, like the final score, great. Oh, they handled it 3-0 at half, and it
Yeah.
was
People don't
struggling.
look at that. That was pretty, but
And
yeah, a little bit.
and Texas Tech hasn't played anyone really, and they've creamed everyone.
Yeah.
So again, this is kind of another let's find out who's who. But I think Texas Tech has at least the players to go in there. Now it is at Utah. I know it's going to be loud, and I think big noon kickoff is there for Fox.
Yeah, they will be.
Um, so
And
I am
10 a.m.
looking forward
local
to it.
time, by the way. 10 a.m.
Is
local time.
it? Oh, I didn't realize how
Yeah.
early.
Which
Ooh,
everybody's mad about here, apparently. Well, Utah's mad
yeah.
about, but
Utah would be, at least Texas, it's like, oh, it's a little late your time. That's an early kick. Wow.
yeah.
Okay. Um, but I'm anyway, but I think Texas Tech can go in. Now Utah could very well win it. They do have a good like when I have watched them, their lines are good. That's a trademark Kyle Woodenham. But I think people are also just being like, oh, last year was a blip on the radar for Utah,
Yeah.
which it very well could have been. But I think people are like, now they got tape on the offense. Now they got tape on the quarterback. I think someone said when they found that when they pressured the quarterback, his accuracy was a little off.
So
So
wary.
Texas Tech might be
They
able to
have the
get some
defense for
pressure.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead. I've talked a lot.
No, I think this is good. I think it's I feel like this game, and the reason it's the game of the week is it's money versus pride. And you can Texas Tech money, Utah pride. their pride, Utah's has been hurt ever since they left the Pac-12, and they've been looking for somebody to match their quality level for quite some time, and which has kind of really hurt a lot of the Big 12 schools to be like, all right, well, we took you in when you had nowhere to go. But
Yeah,
I was listening to a podcast with Te Texas Tech and BYU, and they're like, we can be friends this week because basically the way it is with Utah and BYU is we love our team and anybody who else is playing the other team, right?
yeah,
So, but what was interesting is I mean Texas Tech I guess Utah's athletic director and a bunch of stuff were making comments that were ticking off their audience, and I was like, well, welcome to the rivalry that is Utah.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
um, so again, this is what the game of the week because although I'm calling an upset, I don't think it'll be far between, and it'll probably be a tight game, and it might just even be whoever has the ball last. And based on the way that they handled the clock last year, Utah has a good shot because
Yeah.
they know all those little sneaky rules that get them the ball.
Oh
And all that.
man,
I
oh,
hated that. That
so
was so.
annoying.
But
One of my biggest pet peeves in all of college football. Yep.
yes, same. So Utah has some, cards up their sleeves. It'll also be a good test for Utah's quarterback and actually Texas Tech's quarterback, although I think he's a little
Hmm.
bit more um, bona fide from what I've, been watching. But this will just be a real test of true strength. What I'm hoping for, I won't say out loud, but yeah, I do think this will be an upset. So
Yeah, I agree with you. It's I think this is we mentioned a couple others, but a very big prove it game. Who is it?
yeah.
I think Utah rise up to 16 that fast.
Hmm.
Again, with the UCLA win initially, I was like on board with like, hey, they beat UCLA. That's a good win. And then
Yeah.
it's like, oh, all come back down to earth now on UCLA and
Yeah.
how good did that look? So, and Texas Tech really just hasn't been tested. So
Yeah, I mean, and
we'll
again,
see.
they put a lot of resources into that, which will be interesting. It'll be interesting to see if it's paid off yet, or if there's one more season to be had before it really
Right.
starts to show.
Where it really goes. Yeah.
Yeah. So
So we'll see. Maybe Patrick Mahomes will show up, but it's
actually,
at
I
Utah
heard Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes will be at the BYU game or the
in
Texas
East
Tech
Carolina.
BYU games. No, no, no.
Oh,
Sorry,
oh,
I
that'll
heard
be
they're both
fun.
going to be there for that. So
That'll be a fun one.
yeah,
Okay.
maybe Taylor Swift. No, just kidding.
Maybe.
Um, anyway.
You never know.
Well, good luck to everybody on their picks. I think hopefully, fingers crossed, it'll be a lot less dramatic than last week's upset craziness, but I think it'll be a good week of games. So,
Yeah. Hey, and if there are a ton of upsets, as long as everyone's upset
yeah,
in your
then it
group,
doesn't
then
matter.
it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's true.
So, yeah.
All right.
All right.
See y'all.
Adios.